Let me start with something that almost no one admits out loud. Some people would rather collapse quietly than ask for help, not because they don't need it, not because there's no one around, but because asking, the actual act of opening their mouth and saying, "I need something," feels more frightening than carrying everything alone. You've seen these people. You might be one of them. They are the ones who figure it out themselves, who say, "I'm fine," before you've even finished asking, who will research something for hours rather than call someone who could answer in 5 minutes, who will struggle visibly and still, when you offer help, say, "No, it's okay, I've got it." From the outside, it looks like stubbornness, like pride, like they think they're above needing anyone. But from the inside, it feels like survival. People who can't ask for help are often misread as independent, strong, or self-sufficient. And sometimes they wear that label like armor because it's easier than explaining the truth. The truth is that for many of these people, asking for help doesn't feel like a simple exchange. It doesn't feel like I need something and you give it and everything is fine. It feels like exposure, like debt, like proof of something they have spent their entire life trying to hide, that they are somehow too much or not enough or both at the same time. Most people who struggle to ask for help didn't arrive there by choice. They arrived there the same way people arrive at most of their survival strategies, through repetition, through learning slowly and quietly that their needs were inconvenient. Maybe they asked once and were met with a sigh. Maybe they reached out and the person wasn't there. Maybe they were told, not in words, but in 1,000 small moments, that needing things was a burden, that self-sufficiency was the only acceptable way to be. Maybe they grew up in a household where everyone was too overwhelmed to notice them, so they stopped asking, not as a decision, as an adaptation. Psychologically, this is called emotional parentification, when a child learns to manage their own emotional needs because the adults around them couldn't. The child doesn't learn, "My needs matter." The child learns, "My needs are extra," and extra things get hidden. One of the deepest psychological roots of not being able to ask for help is something called the fear of becoming a burden. It sounds simple. It isn't. Because this fear doesn't just live in the mind, it lives in the body. When these individuals consider asking for help, when they even approach the thought of it, something tightens: their chest, their throat, their hands. A quiet alarm goes off somewhere deep in the nervous system that says, "Don't, this will cost you something." And that alarm isn't irrational. It was built from real experiences where needing something did cost them, where asking was met with withdrawal, where vulnerability was treated as weakness. So the nervous system learned to protect them by making self-sufficiency feel like safety. There's another layer that rarely gets talked about. Many people who can't ask for help are actually extraordinarily good at giving it. They show up for others without being asked. They notice when someone is struggling before that person has said a word. They give time, energy, presence, generously, consistently, quietly. But when the direction reverses, when someone tries to show up for them, something shuts down. They deflect, they minimize, they redirect the attention back outward. Psychologically, this is called compulsive self-reliance, and it creates a painful paradox. These individuals are surrounded by people who care about them, people who would help without hesitation if asked, but they cannot ask. And so they remain, in a very real sense, alone inside relationships that should feel safe. There's also something called help-seeking shame. This is the internalized belief that needing assistance is a reflection of personal failure, not just inconvenience, not just weakness, but failure. For people carrying this belief, asking for help doesn't feel neutral. It feels like confession, like standing in front of someone and saying, "I am not enough on my own." And if enough of their early experiences taught them that being enough was the only way to be loved, then that confession feels catastrophic. So they don't make it. They carry more than they should. They say, "I've got it," until they no longer do. And even then, they find a way to pretend they do. Here's something that lives in the quietest part of this pattern. Many people who can't ask for help are waiting for someone to notice without being told. They don't want to ask, but they are hoping, deeply, wordlessly, that someone will see. That someone will look closely enough to notice the wait, to offer without being asked, to show up before the request has to be made. Because that would mean something that asking cannot give them. It would mean, "You see me," not just my usefulness, not just my strength, but the part that is struggling, the part that is tired, the part that has been carrying this for a very long time. That's not stubbornness. That's one of the loneliest kinds of hope there is. There's also a deep connection between this pattern and what psychologists call anxious attachment. People with anxious attachment often learned early that love was conditional, that they were valued for what they did, not simply for who they were. So they became achievers, helpers, fixers, people who earned their place through competence and capability. Asking for help threatens that identity, because if they need something, they are no longer the capable one. They are no longer earning their place. And if they are not earning their place, what happens to the love? That question doesn't have to be conscious to be running quietly in the background of every moment they consider reaching out. There is also a grief inside this pattern that almost never gets named. People who can't ask for help often grieve the relationships they never fully had, the ones where they showed up completely, gave everything, and were never asked in return, "How are you?" No, really, how are you? They grieve the version of themselves that once tried to need people and learned it wasn't safe. They grieve the ease of it, the simple human act of saying, "I need help today," without the weight of everything that sentence carries for them. That grief is real, and it sits beneath the self-sufficiency like a stone that nobody sees because they've been so careful to make sure no one looks that closely. From a neurological perspective, asking for help activates the same brain regions associated with vulnerability and social risk. For most people, this activation is mild. The perceived risk is low. They ask, someone responds, the loop closes. But for people whose early experiences taught them that social vulnerability leads to pain, that same activation is intense. The brain isn't assessing the current situation. It's running a pattern match against every time asking didn't work. Every sigh, every absence, every dismissal, every moment their need was treated as inconvenience. And based on that history, it concludes, don't. This is not weakness. This is a nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. Here's what people who can't ask for help often don't know about themselves. Their self-sufficiency is impressive. It genuinely is. They have developed capabilities, resilience, and resourcefulness that most people never had to build. But capability built from survival is different from capability built from freedom. One says, "I can do this." The other says, "I have to do this." And there is a profound difference between those two sentences, even when the outcome looks the same from the outside. The path forward isn't about suddenly becoming someone who asks for help easily. That doesn't happen overnight, and it shouldn't be forced. It begins much smaller. It begins with one honest moment, not a grand vulnerability, not a complete unraveling, just one small, true admission. I'm finding this hard. Not "I need you to fix it," not "I am falling apart," just "this is hard." And then seeing what happens. Because for many people who can't ask for help, the fear has never been fully tested in a genuinely safe relationship. They have spent their life predicting rejection based on experiences from before they knew that other kinds of people existed. Because people who can't ask for help aren't broken. They aren't cold. They aren't proud. They are people who learned that their needs were an imposition and who are still living as if that lesson is true. They are not self-sufficient because they want to be. They are self-sufficient because they had to be. And somewhere beneath all that quiet capability, beneath all the "I'm fine and I've got it," there is someone who is tired. Someone who has been carrying things alone for so long that they've forgotten what it feels like not to. The question they've been circling their entire life isn't "Can I do this alone?" They already know they can. The question is it safe to not have to? That question doesn't have an easy answer, but it's where everything begins.